I want to bring in Republican Congressman Randy Fine of Florida. Congressman Fine, thank you for joining me. You've supported the federal immigration enforcement activity in cities like Minneapolis. So I want to first ask for your reaction to what we've seen there in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I think there's a simple lesson. Don't bring a gun and get in the face of ICE agents. When ICE agents are focused on getting illegal immigrants who are criminals out of our country, people should get out of their way so they can do their job, just like you would do with any form of law enforcement. If you do that, you're going to have problems, and that's what that guy learned yesterday.
Now, I also want to ask you about what we've heard from some Trump administration officials. Just today, FBI Director Kash Patel said Americans cannot bring a loaded firearm to protests. But doesn't that contradict both the Second Amendment and the open carry laws of Minnesota? Your state, Florida, is also an open carry state.
Sure. So I didn't hear Kash's statement. What I would say is this: you can carry, and I don't have a problem with that, but I would not get into a fight with a federal law enforcement agent while carrying. That is what this guy did. He wasn't wandering down the street and ICE ran up to him. He chose to engage and get in the face and get into a physical altercation while carrying a gun. That is called stupid, and no law should tell people not to do that.
Well, from the video we just saw, would you characterize what we saw yesterday as an organized protest? Just before Alex Preddy was taken to the ground by multiple people, he appeared to intervene to assist another person that was pushed to the ground. Would you characterize that as a protest?
When it's physical, it's not a protest. And this was physical. Your own definition, what you just said, you've made clear you do not think it was a protest either.
Oh, no, that is not what I'm saying. I'm asking you if you agree if this is a protest or not.
Physical. You just said pushing to the ground. He got involved. You yourself just said it wasn't a protest. I agree with you.
So do you agree, or do you think that federal agents, do they have any obligation to preserve life and to de-escalate in situations like this?
I'm not sure how you de-escalate situations when people get in your face, start pushing you and engage in things, and they're carrying a gun. The responsibility of that is on the person. There's simple common sense. Don't engage in any form of law enforcement when you're carrying a gun. These people are simply trying to deport foreign invaders who are in our country illegally and refuse to leave.
So do you believe there should be a new set of rules for people who decide to conceal carry in states that allow it?
I didn't hear your question.
Do you think there should be a new state of rules for people who decide to legally conceal carry in their state if it allows it to?
I don't even understand your question. I would say this: people should be allowed to conceal carry, but you shouldn't run up to a federal law enforcement officer while carrying a gun.
In any of the videos that have been released so far to the public, have you seen any video where Alex Preddy allegedly, as you're saying, ran up to those ICE agents and confronted them? I'm not sure if I've seen that video. I'm asking if you have.
Of course, that's what he's doing. He's going up to them with the camera. He's getting involved. He's getting in their face. That's exactly what the video shows, is him getting involved. When law enforcement is doing their jobs, people should keep their distance.
Minnesota state and local officials, they're calling for ICE to leave Minneapolis. Do you think their continued operations there are addressing a clear issue?
Absolutely, and I hope they double down. We need more ICE agents in there. What's going on in Minnesota is the governor and the mayor trying to cover up the largest case of immigration fraud in American history. In fact, the address where that gentleman was shot had 3 different companies, it appears, engaged in that sort of fraud that they're trying to cover up. Every illegal immigrant in this country needs to be rounded up and be deported, and we need to let ICE get that job done.
You know, you've said that you get what's coming to you if you obstruct the government. Are you comfortable with that as a guiding principle of law enforcement? Instant lethal consequences for nonviolent interference without a trial or due process?
I think you've dramatically taken out of context what I've said. I think if you
you've come out and said that you get what's coming to you if you obstruct the government. That is a quote from you. I'm not making this up.
That is not what I said. That's absolutely not what I said. But if you try to run over an ICE agent with your car, if you run up to ICE agents and you're carrying a gun, these are decisions that the person made that ended up in bad results. Had this guy kept his distance, none of it would ever have happened. I blame him, not law enforcement, simply trying to deport foreign invaders.
You've introduced the ICE Act that would make it a criminal offense to impede ICE operations. Would the incident with Preddy that resulted in his death fall under that act?
Absolutely. I mean, look, they were trying to round up an illegal immigrant who engaged in serious violent crimes. Him and others were getting in the way of them doing it. I don't know when in this country people thought it was a good idea to run up to law enforcement when they're in the middle of doing their jobs. What we have on the left is lunacy where people have lost basic common sense. If they don't like the laws, if they want open borders, they should elect people that will pass that. But in the election we had in 2024, the American people overwhelmingly voted for mass deportations, and that is what is happening now.
You know, I do want to point out something. The state, they do have complaints going on in the legal system right now. You argue that Democrats are choosing non-citizens over Americans. That is a quote that you said. Now, the state's complaint details schools going into lockdowns, businesses closing, local police pulled off their duties to handle ICE-related chaos. How is that putting American citizens first?
You know whose fault all of that is Minnesota. When Minnesota arrests a violent illegal immigrant and they have them in jail, they refuse to turn that person over to ICE, and they release them onto the streets where ICE then has to go and round them up. If they were willing to work with law enforcement to deport illegal immigrants, none of these problems would actually happen.
Congressman Randy Fine, thank you for your time.